Okay, now you're a Norteño, but describe what the Nuestra Familia is.
Um, it's basically, I would like if we talk in like business from a business sense, right? It's like
Mhm.
the parent company, right? And then you have the northern structure, which is right below them, which gave birth to them. And then the Norteños would be more like the foot soldiers.
Okay, so above you is the northern structure,
Correct.
and above them was the Nuestra Familia.
Correct. During those years,
Who
correct.
was the leader of the Nuestra Familia during that time?
Um,
Was there an actual single leader?
I don't like to drop names, but there was somebody that I heard about up at Pelican Bay when I got up to Pelican Bay later. A lot of these guys, I don't know if they're still active or what, but there is definitely a main dude up in Pelican Bay calling the shots for everybody.
It seems like the Mexican gangs have a different structure than like the black gangs. You know, it seems like there really is an actual hierarchy and everyone has to follow the hierarchy and so forth, where it seems like the Crips and the Bloods are more like cliques, you
Yeah,
know?
well, I think
There's no one leader of the Crips. There's no one leader of the Bloods. There might be a
right,
leader of the Rolling 60s or whoever, but there's not one overall Crip or Blood leader,
right,
whereas the Mexican Mafia and the Nuestra Familia, there really is leaders and a
correct.
hierarchy.
Yeah, I mean they're organizations. They're
Yeah.
called criminal organizations, whatever you want to call it, but that's how they're looked upon. And yeah, they're very, very, very organized, very strategic. And whereas the street gangs there's so many different street gangs, so that street gang doesn't adhere to what that street gang is doing, and vice versa. And out here in LA, there's street gangs everywhere.
Right. So at that point, the Norteños were allied with the Crips, the Bloods, and the 415s.
Correct.
And the Sureños were allied with the skinheads and the Nazi lowriders, the white
Whites.
gangs.
Correct.
Okay. Now, how many fights were you involved with during that time at that prison?
So I was at Corcoran for right about 10 months. I got into about 4 or 5 fights. And literally, the very first fight I got into, I got cleared. So during that time, because they had the FBI investigation going on, right? So most of the yards are integrated, but they were also trying to segregate some yards too to kind of keep the heat off of the staff. But when I went to classification, they cleared me for an integrated yard. So that means I'm going to go to the yard with whites and Sureños. And so when I moved to another block and I got into my cell, my cellie right away was like, "Did they clear you for integrated yard?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "All right, well, tomorrow, as soon as we go out, we got to rush our neighbors as soon as they let us out." So the very first yard I went to, my neighbors, we were in the first cell in the top tier, and they sent us out to the yard. These are very, very small yards that only fit like maybe 10 or 20 people. And as soon as these 2 white guys came out, we rushed them, got into our first fist fight. They shot the block gun at us. And yeah, that was my introduction to integrated yard.
Okay. So at one point, you got paired up with this guy named Rabbit.
Correct. That was my cellie at that time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys would actually fight together?
Yeah, yeah. So, you're always with your cellie, right? You go to the yard with your cellie. So, we go out, and as soon as we go out to the yard, there's somebody already out there waiting for us, or we're the first ones out there. And then when somebody comes out, usually 2 people, it's literally a 2-on-2, and you just go at it.
Well, at one point, Rabbit was given a hit.
Well, he was older than me, right? He was older than me, and he told me, he was kind of getting short to the house where he could maybe go home. He had a date. And so he asked me if I would go out and take one on some dude and rush this guy, and he would kind of fall back. And that's something I did.
Okay, so he was told by the upper leadership to go get a particular guy?
No, we made an agreement as his cellie. He's like, because we were going out to this yard, and there was only one Southerner out there, and he said, when we go out there, can you rush him? I'm going to fall back because I'm trying to go home. So I went out there and I rushed the guy.
Right. And you got caught and you got charged for it.
Yeah.
And that got you transferred to Pelican Bay?
Yeah, because that was already like my 4th or 5th yard fight. And that particular fight I got into, they gave me another charge, another DA referral for like, it was called a great bodily injury, where you like really assault somebody and injure them. So they charged me with that. gave me another DA referral, and because they, it was more severe at that point, I was looked at as like basically an inmate or a convict that just wasn't getting along with anybody. So at that point, they gave me another shoe term, 18-month shoe term, and they sent me up to Pelican Bay.